It started with a guitar and an investor's mindset. Long before Forbes listed her as a billionaire, Taylor Swift was already building an empire, one decision at a time. Her shift from label-dependent artist to self-owned brand was more than rebellion, it was a blueprint. She learned early that in the music business, control equals capital. By treating her career like a startup, investing in songwriting rights, long-term fan loyalty, and image consistency, she built compound interest in culture itself. The real secret? She didn't chase fame. She engineered sustainability. Few moments in pop history blend art and economics so elegantly. When Taylor re-recorded her first 6 albums, it wasn't nostalgia, it was asset recovery. Wall Street analysts called it the most brilliant music rights maneuver of the decade. In one move, she reclaimed intellectual property worth hundreds of millions, while deepening emotional bonds with fans. Every re-release was a case study in financial storytelling. Fans felt part of justice. Investors saw ownership discipline. It proved that art, when owned, becomes equity. The headline wasn't "Taylor Swift fights back." It was "Taylor Swift outsmarts the market." Economists once studied oil shocks and trade wars. Now, they study Taylor Swift. In 2023 alone, her Eras Tour generated an estimated $5.7 billion in U.S. economic activity, enough to fund the GDP of a small country. Hotels sold out, restaurants doubled bookings, local businesses saw record weekends. When one artist's schedule affects state revenue, you're no longer in the entertainment business, you're in macroeconomics. The takeaway is simple but staggering. Celebrity demand has crossed into national data. Taylor Swift didn't just sing to crowds, she moved markets. Ticket sales became a live economics lesson. When demand crashed Ticketmaster, analysts compared the frenzy to an IPO gone viral. Secondary markets skyrocketed, yet satisfaction remained. Swift's scarcity model, limited seats, timed drops, layered exclusivity, mirrored luxury economics. Fans weren't just buying tickets, they were buying access to identity. Economists noticed something else. The more expensive her shows became, the higher the loyalty metrics climbed. It's irrational, yet perfectly human. That's the essence of Swiftonomics, where emotion defies elasticity. In this market, desire outperforms logic. Every stop on her tour turned into a pop-up economy. Outside stadiums, local vendors, Etsy sellers, and unofficial Swiftie creators made thousands overnight. Swift didn't need to control every transaction, she simply set the tone. Limited drops, color-coded city themes, and timed releases created urgency that even luxury brands envy. Economists call it distributed entrepreneurship, when consumers become participants in the profit chain. Taylor's merch wasn't just memorabilia, it was a micro-investment in belonging. And that's smarter than any ad campaign. Ownership creates loyalty. Loyalty compounds value. What happens when feelings generate financial growth? The Swiftie effect extended far beyond stadium walls. Friendship bracelets sold out, fashion lines copied her tour outfits, and TikTok challenges turned into free global marketing. Every emotional spike became a transaction. Economists even tracked temporary spending spikes after major album drops. This isn't fandom, it's emotional commerce. Taylor turned sentiment into circulation, converting joy into GDP. In modern markets, culture is currency, and she mints it daily. In finance, stability is gold. In entertainment, it's almost extinct. Yet Taylor Swift has maintained one of the most consistent public reputations of any major celebrity for over 15 years. No scandals that sink stocks, no PR crashes, just steady brand appreciation. Analysts say her name now signals reliability, much like a trusted blue-chip company. When others diversify out of fear, she diversifies with intent. Film, fashion, fintech partnerships, all executed with surgical timing. Consistency isn't boring, it's profitable. Swift's volatility index? Near zero. That's rare air in pop culture. Here's where things get fascinating. Economists literally track her, not musically, but economically. Google Trends, hotel bookings, even consumer sentiment data show measurable upticks aligned with her major announcements. Some analysts joke there's a Taylor Swift index predicting local market activity. When culture starts forecasting economics, you know the old models are outdated. We used to say markets mirror society. Now, sometimes they mirror a melody. And that tells us one thing. Influence has become infrastructure. If you're enjoying this deep dive into how fame turns into financial gravity, subscribe. Here, we connect the dots between culture, economics, and innovation, where every story reveals how influence really works. When cities start competing for concert dates, you're no longer planning events, you're managing a national stimulus program. During the Eras Tour, state tourism boards lobbied for extra nights, citing local economic boosts from tens of millions in visitor spending. Airlines added flights, hotels ran out of rooms, and city tax revenue spiked almost overnight. It was, in effect, a mobile economy on wheels. Urban planners called her tour a temporary city. Economists called it seasonal GDP. When an artist becomes an infrastructure project, you've transcended entertainment. That's influence at scale. Here's the most fascinating twist. Her fans aren't just followers. They're an unpaid, hyper-efficient global PR network. Every post, hashtag, and TikTok remix is part of a decentralized marketing system that operates 24/7. No payroll, no management, just passion. It's a model every corporation dreams of but can't replicate. Voluntary advocacy powered by emotion. Economists might call it irrational. Marketers call it genius. Swift's empire thrives because it's built on participation, not promotion. When your audience becomes your amplifier, reach becomes infinite. For decades, music was emotion. Now it's also an economic indicator. Streaming trends move alongside consumer confidence, and Taylor Swift sits at the epicenter of both. When she releases an album, global listening hours rise, and, surprisingly, so do discretionary spending metrics in certain markets. Her audience doesn't just listen, they activate economically. In effect, her releases behave like microeconomic events, tiny global holidays that shift patterns of consumption. When culture synchronizes with cash flow, that's no longer pop, that's policy. Taylor Swift blurred the line between playlist and portfolio. While most pop careers burn bright and fade, hers compounds like interest. Each album era feeds the next. New fans join, old fans reinvest, and the story continues without collapse. It's not hype, it's compounding trust. By maintaining authenticity and predictability, Swift built a cycle that resembles dividend-paying stock. She delivers consistently, reinvests strategically, and pays emotional dividends through nostalgia and connection. The result, market stability in human form. In entertainment, that's rarer than gold. Consistency isn't glamorous until it outperforms chaos. In a world addicted to scandal, Taylor Swift built an empire on silence. When controversies erupt elsewhere, she stays focused, deliberate, often saying nothing until it matters most. It's a strategy borrowed from Fortune 500 crisis playbooks. Avoid overreaction, protect long-term equity. Even her personal stories, once potential PR hazards, are repurposed into art that strengthens her brand. Breakups become ballads. Disputes become documentaries. Where others lose control, she monetizes narrative. Her calm isn't absence of emotion, it's brand governance. In chaos, consistency wins, and that's her ultimate insurance.
Generosity can be a transaction or a philosophy. Taylor's donations to food banks during her tour weren't random acts of kindness, they were precision acts of goodwill. Each contribution amplified authenticity, reinforcing the perception that her success uplifts communities. Economists might call it social capital investment. She turns giving into growth, not cynically, but strategically. The result is measurable trust, the most undervalued asset in modern business. When your kindness yields ROI, that's not PR, that's brand equity with a heart.
Fame used to be fleeting. Today, it's financial infrastructure. Taylor Swift's empire demonstrates how celebrity capital can become a tradable asset, built on data, loyalty, and trust. Her brand behaves more like a stable currency than a personality. It holds value because people believe in it. We're entering an era where influence isn't just measured, it's monetized. And she's the blueprint. Future stars will be portfolio managers of their own identity, navigating markets of attention like seasoned investors. The celebrity economy isn't coming, it's already trading live. As artificial intelligence floods the creative world, authenticity becomes the last true scarcity. AI can replicate melodies, lyrics, even facial expressions, but it can't replicate trust. Taylor Swift's edge lies precisely there, emotional consistency in a synthetic age. Her relationship with fans is a data-proof bond, immune to automation. In a future where real will be harder to define, the artists who preserve humanity will define value. In that sense, Swift isn't competing with AI, she's setting the benchmark for it. Her next frontier isn't fame, it's permanence. When the stage lights fade, only structure remains. Taylor Swift's true legacy isn't chart-topping hits, it's the architecture she built beneath them. Ownership, adaptability, emotional intelligence turned into financial literacy. Her journey reframed the question every creator should ask: how do you turn moments into systems? Because systems survive cycles. She's not just playing the music industry, she's quietly redesigning it from within. And that's the kind of influence that outlasts applause. Longevity isn't luck, it's structure with soul. Every era has a voice that defines how culture and economy intertwine. In this one, it's Taylor Swift, a reminder that influence, when guided by intention, becomes infrastructure. She turned emotion into equity and storytelling into stability. Her model may look like entertainment, but its mechanics resemble economics. And maybe that's the final lesson. In a noisy age, clarity compounds. True power isn't loud, it's lasting. This video is for informational and educational purposes only and does not constitute financial or professional advice. Always consult qualified experts before making investment or business decisions.